plasma right here. And this is the governor. I was watching the plasma, and it is growing. I'll just let you hear what he has to say for a second, but I want to look at this web plasma because this is wild.
And this is about execution right now. We obviously can have different policy debates when the time's appropriate, but this is what we have to do to be able to save lives, be able to respond, be able to get people back on their feet.
Can you kind of talk about how many people are heeding those evacuation
Hello.
notices, how many people are under those evacuation notices right now?
So I'll let Kevin jump in if I say anything wrong, but I mean, I think on Cedar Key, the vast majority have done it.
Yes,
and I think that I don't think it's 100%, but I think it was a lot. I think it was a big percentage.
Hello.
And probably a bigger percentage in some of those really sensitive.
Are you all able to hear what he has to say? Because I have not even tuned into anything. Hello, Frank. Okay. Because that web plasma over there, it really is getting wild. Let's see.
Areas that happened in Hurricane Ian with some of those areas that ended up being ground zero. Of course, I think there's been a lot more notice that this storm was likely to hit in this
Look at
area
that web plasma.
I think we had some track shifts, so I understand how people process that. But we've been talking about the Big Bend now for a few days, and I think people got the message. And I think by and large, I think that they have heeded the advice. So I would say way more have heeded than have not heeded.
Obviously, that storm is going to be.
Thank you, Frank.
Significant for Leon County with all the big trees we have. We haven't had a big hurricane ever. I guess is the state contemplating a contingency plan if Leon County is not able to run properly for the long term? I mean, there's people saying we could lose power for weeks, months.
So we have spoken with the mayor and recommended that their utility accept the mutual aid, and I think he wants to accept it. I think he understands that could be useful. I think he understands that they want to get the power back on as quickly as possible. This utility here locally.
I don't know where it's running through, but it's supposed to turn into a category 4 when it hits landfall this morning. So look at that web plasma.
So I think the city is going to welcome it, and that's why we have these people pre-staged, because we understand when you have a situation like this. I mean, hopefully nobody ends up in a life-threatening situation in Leon County at all. But even if some do, the vast majority of people are not going to be in that. The vast majority of people are not going to have their homes destroyed with this storm.
Oh my gosh, so you couldn't get out.
I mean, that's not ideal. So
wow.
We want to bring those to bear. There will be some difficulty with all the trees, and there's going to be a lot of debris. We have our guys that are going to be willing to help with that as well. But we understand it's important to get this stuff going again. So there's a lot of resources available for both the county and the city to be able to help. And so we recommend that they take us up on that offer. All right, well, we will be here bright and early tomorrow, and we will be hunkering down here as the storm passes through this part of the state of Florida. Then once it passes, we're likely going to go down and be in the areas where you've had the most impacts and start.
Look at that plasma.
Relief and recovery process as soon as the storm exits the state of Florida. Thanks.
All right, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, sounding pretty matter-of-fact there, and you can tell he has done this before. He said they are going to have their next update on camera tomorrow morning, and then he said they're going to be visiting some of these impacted zones, areas, sites from the storm itself. Let's take a quick commercial break. I mean, Kraft, so you were listening in there to Florida officials. That was their last update. From today, that was earlier this afternoon, but we also know now that officials in Georgia there and in South Carolina, their respective governors have issued states of emergencies as well once this storm makes landfall and heads northeastward. So you can see our X-Rad weather system at the moment. You can see, look how big the eye of that storm is right there. Idalia making her way up the western coast of Florida. You can see there. Really aimed directly at the Big Bend there. And so many of these towns and cities and counties we've been showing you updates in, Idalia has them in her crosshairs. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Rainbow turtle, honey. Whoopsie. You are having you having some rice? Oh, you're eating some peas and rice. That sounds really good. I ain't got nothing in here to eat. That's probably good. Oh my gosh, you all. This is a category 4 is going to hit landfall. That's what I'm saying.
There are evacuation orders in
Tampa.
place right now, but I mean, do you have any concern? Do you have any?
Let me tell you about Tampa. Tampa is where the Space Force headquarters is at. Down there around Tampa. I mean, a part of it.
Or are you writing this out, kind of like some other people there watching all of this unfold?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm gonna see what happens, and we got a cooler full, some food, and I mean, hopefully make it through the night and see what happens in the morning as far as power and everything. But I'm expecting to be at work tomorrow, so.
I haven't heard nothing about a Maui. Wait, no, I didn't really cover much of anything lately. It's not here. There's something in, I know Georgia has some Space Force stuff too. There's different areas where they work on the Space Force. Different, like, spread out hubs that are extensions of it. Well, I know Peterson Air Force Base is, well, that's, look at that, let's look at that plasma.
Some of our other reporters throughout the course of the next hour as well in Tampa to see how conditions are faring there as we all are watching.
There's a dark entity back there. You can see it right there in that spot. Oh, shoot. I don't like their commercials. I just turned into it. Oh, who's she? Let's see who she is.
For all of your help to help me ensure the people in the storm path get this message. While we are engaged with our states to prepare for the path of this storm, it's critical that the people that are in the path of this storm are
Oh
also
my gosh,
prepared.
kids, yeah, I've seen about that, kids missing.
Florida are no stranger to storms, and I encourage all Floridians to take this storm seriously. This storm is very strong and is expected to strengthen to a major hurricane by the time it makes landfall due to high surface temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico. This means heavy winds, high winds, heavy rain, and a forecast.
Oh, Kelly, I hope he stays safe.
Surge in some of the areas along the western coast. This storm surge, this is one of the highest risk parts.
Yes,
of a hurricane,
Maxie.
especially along the west coast of Florida due to the underwater geography. The coastal shelf gets shallow very quickly, which increases the amount of the storm surge, putting more people at risk. Very few people can survive being in the path of major storm surge, and this storm will be deadly if we don't get out of harm's way and take it seriously. So I ask all Floridians to be vigilant and heed the warnings of your local officials. Have a plan to communicate with your family and your loved ones. Charge your cell phones, your batteries, any devices that you may have, and ensure that you are receiving emergency alerts. And most important, please listen to the warnings of local officials. If they tell you to evacuate,
1950s? Oh my gosh.
and remember, you don't have to evacuate far. If you are in a storm surge warning area, it could mean just traveling 10 or 20 miles to get out of the most significant impact areas. It does not mean having to travel hundreds of miles to get out of the storm's path. And finally, we are all in this together. I ask that you check on your neighbors, especially those who are older adults, people living with disabilities, or may need additional
500 gallons.
But before I close, I want to provide an update on another topic that has been widely reported in recent days and asked by many of you, FEMA's Disaster Relief Fund, which as of this morning has a balance of $3.4 billion. So today, I am directing the implementation of immediate needs funding. This means that FEMA will prioritize available funding for critical response efforts to Idalia, the Maui fires, and any other extreme weather events that may come our way without interruption, while continuing to meet the immediate needs of survivors through the remaining weeks of the fiscal year. I want to repeat.
That's wonderful,
Prioritizing
Rainbow
funding
Turtle.
for Idalia, for the Maui fires, and any other extreme weather events that are coming our way without interruption. And I want to stress that while immediate needs funding will ensure we can continue to respond to disasters, it is not a permanent solution. Congress must work with us on the supplemental request that the administration has made on behalf of FEMA. And you are going to hear more from me on that soon.
I
My
love you
primary
too.
responsibility at FEMA is to ensure that we are always postured to respond to any disaster and to provide the life-saving and life-sustaining support when needed. And with that, I'll take any questions.
So that is, I guess she's the FEMA woman. I don't know who she is. Oh, we're going to get closer up to the hurricane, you all. If you're just tuning in, this is really the first time I've looked at it and seen it. Look at that plasma. There's really some dark energy. Look at it. These are massive energies. Gina, it's raindrops. No, there is. This is spiked full, packed full. That web. Yes, taking a battering there. Japan too in the early hours. Look at that. There's looks like there's like something straight at the top, like a plasma ship or something. Look how it's extending its feelers. It's trying to extend out up here, stretch and replicate even more. I wouldn't be surprised if portals were open with this. It would not. They're capping the live chat. They're capping the number of people they allow in here. They have capped it at 155. Isn't that something how YouTube algorithm literally will cap the number of people viewing? That's terrible. But that's what they do. Y'all give this video a thumbs up. It's Donna Honey, what's massive omissions? We've got a great big massive plasma playlist. And this is more than what meets the eye. What you may feel or what some people think is just rain, it's so much more than that. Plasma is a living entity. And that air is electrified. Plasma is electric. So straight. This right here, you see this type of plasma? It was several months before the Ukraine thing, Odessa, Ukraine. That place was loaded with plasma, and then the war broke out. The war broke out. We documented it. Look at that dark plasma down there. It's black. It's trying to open up a portal. They're trying to open them up. Portals in Florida. Odessa, Ukraine was the same way. And then, boom, you see what happened over there. Then that camera is, we can't see the camera no more with the Ukraine. Yes, Heather, honey. You remember that? It was the wildest. They were battling. Oh. Let me see this. Maui was hit with a plasma weapon, Frank. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't. Look how dark that plasma is down there. Gina, that's the background of the sky. Okay. Oh my gosh, you all. They are using, yes, cameras or something. No, here's what it is. DARPA and all these other agencies have invested heavily, and they have for years, in high efficiency plasma. Plasma lights, all of it. They're drawn. It's the plasma in all the lights, all the glowing lights, everything is plasma. And we did a video on it. It went down, and there was, you would not believe the agencies and organizations that were investing in plasma. Since CERN, you know, works with plasma too. If DARPA's involved, you know it's not good. And they were involved, still are. That's how they're going to open up the portal. If they have all these high efficiency plasma lights, they can bring in the plasma entities. It's spiked. But that's massive if you are living in there, that path. That's horrible. Manatee County, let's see what they're saying about it.
Expecting to see some tornadic activity, so those alerts
Tornadoes.
will go out as soon as we receive them from the National Weather Service. The coastal counties, or coastal area, however, will definitely see the higher wind gusts, and they will see the surge.
Oh wow, Frank.
The first in teams, excuse me. Once the storm passes, the wind dies down, and it's light out, those teams are responsible to go in and make sure that the roads are clear. So if there are down power lines, if there are trees in the way, any kind of debris, they actually make it passable for first responders. And with the power companies there, we're also able to clear any down power lines and make sure those lines are not active. I would urge them to reconsider. If they are choosing to stay, I would highly recommend making sure all of your mobile devices are fully charged. Make sure that you have a
The
cell
fifth
signal.
element.
Call 911 if
Yeah.
you find yourself in need. If you decide that you've made a mistake and you didn't evacuate, please do not hesitate to call 911. We will mark your address and make sure that we have noted where you are, so that when it is safe for responders to come out, we can go to that location and make sure that you are okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, this is serious. Live updates. Let's go down here. We have Ron DeSantis on here again. Let's see what he's got to say.
First responders will not be able to get you until after the storm has passed. That's right. They're not going to be able to get there till after the storm has passed. So please make decisions that are best for you and for your family. And remember, you don't need to travel hundreds of miles away. You don't need to outrun the storm. Simply getting to higher ground in a shelter, with friend's house, hotels, any of that will work. A lot of times you can do that within your own county, but you certainly are thinking more about traveling tens of miles rather than needing to do hundreds of miles. The National Hurricane Center advisory includes that if this storm hits at high tide, storm surge could reach 10 to 15 feet
Wow.
in some areas of the Big Bend. That is life-threatening storm surge. That is storm surge that if you're there while that hits, it's going to be very difficult to survive that.
10 to 15 feet.
Take appropriate precautions. We do have counties, a total of 28 counties have now issued some form of evacuation orders, including more recently Alachua, Hamilton, Leon, Nassau, Putnam, and Sumter. Know your zone on that. Typically, these are going to be zones A. Some will be zone A and B. And if you're in an area, certainly the coastal areas, barrier islands, and then if you're in areas that are low-lying or near some of the rivers, you likely would be advised to be evacuating at this time. We are already seeing impacts in Southwest Florida. We're seeing storm surge. I mean, the eye of this storm is probably 100 miles or more off the coast of Southwest Florida, and yet those outer bands are already showing significant impacts. So you're going to see impacts all up and down the west coast of Florida as the night goes on and as we get in to the wee hours of tomorrow morning. We have been working with folks for the evacuations, so the tolls have been suspended in Citrus, Hernando, Hillsborough, Lake, Pasco, Pinellas, and Sumter County. That started at 4 a.m. this morning. That will continue until this event is concluded. We've also worked with the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association to make sure that all hotels will allow you to bring your pets. Don't leave your pets behind. You got to take them with you. And these hotels are going to be understanding of that. All the counties have at least one pet-friendly shelter as well. So please take care of your pets. Very, very important. They need you in this type of circumstance. Uber has also announced that they will be offering free round-trip rides to and from evacuation shelters with a value up to $35. You can use Idalia Relief to be able to claim that. So we want to thank Uber for stepping up and helping. We have all 8 urban search and rescue teams with almost 600 personnel ready to deploy to help with search and rescue efforts. Hopefully that's not necessary. Hopefully everyone heeded the warnings, and hopefully...
What's happening on September the 23rd? Georgie, honey. Yeah. No digitalized people. Something happening on the 23rd. Is that when all HE double hockey sticks break loose? Hello. I woke up at 1 a.m. right on the dot. Then I woke up at 3 a.m. right on the dot. I'm gonna pause that for a second. If you all can clarify what's happening on that day. Just, I think, yes, look at that. Idalia could strengthen to Category 4 when it hits landfall. Category 4, that is massive. The planets are aligned and all the volcanoes are waking up.
Nobody ends up in harm's way when the storm hits, but we know that that's likely to be a necessity to have some rescues. So these folks are ready to go. They're located up and down the state, and they are going to go where they are needed, and we really appreciate having them. We also have additional search and rescue personnel that are going to be augmenting the USAR teams. We've been working with counties to make sure they have the resources they need to deploy. We've received 400 active missions that we are coordinating. We've either fulfilled or will have those fulfilled today and be ready to go when the storm hits tomorrow. We have 1.1 million gallons of fuel that's staged and ready to deploy. We don't.
And what did someone say, Donna? What'd you say in the thing? They put diesel in all the gasoline, and now nobody can go nowhere. How many gallons you said? The diesel was mixed with the gasoline, and nobody can get out. They can't drive. They ruined the gas, Cloud Walker. They trapped wind to grass to trap the people. The full moon is closest right now, affecting the tide. They're trapped. Yeah.
Know what the fuel situation is going to be like. Sometimes it can be bad, sometimes not as much. This will be able.
9:23. Oh, a child comet. Never heard of that. The volcano is swarming. Is his whip swollen? I don't know.
Fill gaps if those gaps exist. There are over 50 shelters throughout the state that are open.
But you can't
If
get to
every
the
county that
shelters.
has any type of evacuation notice does then open at least one shelter for people to go to. Our Florida Highway Safety Motor Vehicle has 5 Florida licensing on wheel mobiles and 6 mini mobiles ready to deploy to impacted areas to help residents replace important documents such as driver's license.
If he's been up all night, then his eyes are whatever. Swollen. There's no telling what's going on. There really isn't any telling at all. Although, other than a big hurricane's hitting.
Colleges and 6 universities that are not having school tomorrow as well. As the winds become
Revelation
stronger today
12.
into the night, Florida Department of Transportation will be coordinating with FHP and local law enforcement to close bridges once wind speeds reach 40 miles an hour or more.
Wow.
So just keep in mind with that, with any plans that you have, once the wind gets to a certain point,
you're gone.
those bridges are not going to be safe to traverse, and Florida Highway Patrol will work with local officials to make sure that people are kept safe.
The bridges are going to be shut down. The roads are going to be shut down once it reaches 40 miles per hour.
We have been in contact with many states that have offered their assistance, and we're grateful for their efforts. We've already have National Guardsmen from both Tennessee and South Carolina. I want to thank them for
It's way
stepping
off.
up and helping us
Yeah.
out. We also have called up 33 ambulance strike teams with over 200 ambulances that are ready to surge in any of the impacted areas. So this is crunch time right now. We're going to get hit with a major hurricane. It'll be sometime, the eye will arrive on shore sometime tomorrow morning, most likely. And it is going to have major impacts, particularly along Florida's Big Bend region. So listen to your local officials. Take the appropriate precautions to protect you and your family. And once the storm passes, we will have help that will be on the way in the form of power restoration. We were able to go to Wildwood in Central Florida to meet with all the Duke Energy personnel that have been pre-staged there to help with Duke Energy and their power restoration efforts. We've got close to 30,000 people that are in the state of Florida staged for power restoration efforts. So that's going to be a priority to be able to get the power back on for folks. Obviously, search and rescue to the extent that's needed. Those guys are going to be ready to go. And Kevin and his team have a lot of staging of food, water, the things that people need when normal services are interrupted. So everybody hang in there. This is going to be something that will leave significant impacts, and particularly in this part of the state, you really got to go back to the late 1800s to find a storm of this magnitude that will enter where this one looks like it's going to enter tomorrow. So we don't really have a historical analog in anybody's memory. So it's likely to cause a lot of damage, and that's just the reality. So be prepared for that. Be prepared to lose power, and just know that there's a lot of folks that are going to be there to help you get back on your feet. Okay, we're going to hear from Kevin Guthrie.
That was the latest from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to go, you all. I am. It's, let me pause that. National Hurricane Center, Hurricane Idalia, Advisory 14 It rapidly intensifies into a major hurricane. Catastrophic storm surge, destructive winds expected in the Florida Big Bend region this morning when Idalia moves inland. Tracking Idalia. So it's like perfectly made. And then, yeah, we can, let me see this. It's still moving. I'm going to say a prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, you know that there are lives there at risk, and there's many people who are trapped. They're helpless. They're going to shut down the roads. I pray may you protect everyone in harm's way, and just help this storm dissipate and lessen so it is less destructive. We know that you're able to do this. We know that you're able to protect in ways that humans cannot protect. Pray right now, just may you give peace of mind to everyone there, their families, their children. Just keep your hand over them, and watch over them, protect them with your angels, and the animals, all the loss of life and everything that's going on. About all we can do is pray for protection, because this is like, it's massive. It's massive, and the energy is off the charts. It's off the charts. You just pray just for protection and safety with this hurricane. In the name of precious Jesus, amen. It's massive, the storm surge.
In the onshore direction, and then as you go north, that's when that surge threat goes even higher, perhaps 6 to 9 off the coast of Pasco, Hernando, maybe as high as 7 to 11 off the coast of Citrus County, and then our friends further north, you're talking Levy, Dixie, up towards Taylor counties. That's where the surge is going to be the highest, as high as 12 to 16 feet. So much more to break down. We'll continue to have updates, guys, here coming up in just a bit. Tony.
15 feet, 16 feet. It's going to be catastrophic destruction. Rainfall for the next 7 days. Yeah, it doesn't feel normal at all. It's not. But it doesn't matter how it formed now at this point. Lives are at stake. Lives. It's having a real world effect, and some people can't get out. You can't get out. They rent the gasoline. The roads are probably... I wonder if they even gave them enough warning to even get out if they could. Oh my gosh. I am going to go, you all. Have a wonderful, let me see. Hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Stay safe. And we just keep praying for all the people, all the lives, everything. Prayer does work, and it can lessen the impacts of even something like this. It can protect people. It can protect lives and areas. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love you.